Let's transition into a little tea time, hear what's going on in our lives. Ilona, you have a docuseries that has been announced with Hello Sunshine. Congratulations, darling.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you are currently, I'm on this project as well. And we are currently talking to distributors and having conversations on where this docuseries will live. I think it's been a bit of an interesting process, but it's been very cool to have these conversations and kind of talk about what we're doing with this show and the story that we're telling, what's been shot and what we want to shoot to kind of get them excited for it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of meetings, going around just kind of telling people like why our documentary is going to be something, people are going to want to watch and why it should be on their program. It's been fun because every time I kind of get to share a little bit more, I feel like you get more comfortable as you do things. And it's been about, not like selling myself, but like there's a story here that I want people to know. And there's a story that I think people are going to love to see. And so I hope other people, brands see that. And I think they will. I think it's going to be, what I imagine is it's going to be a really fun documentary and people are going to want to watch it. There's so much about me that people don't know or that I just don't share. I mean, I am an open book in many ways, but I think there's been a lot, especially this year, that has happened that it's like I haven't put into words or I haven't really shared online. So I'm excited to get that out there for some, because I think especially being an athlete, we're thought of in certain ways, and this is just another way to tell a female athlete story.
And I think it's going to be such a fun story because it's going to be a premium sports documentary for sure. We're getting that sports angle, but you are so much more than just the rugby because you have to be. So I think in this, we're getting so much wonderful texture and about you and your life, and not the drama outside, but just like what it means to be you and the day to day and it's going to be fun. It's just not going to be like sports and the grind, and there'll be a lot of that, but it is also fun and the family's involved and us being goofy. And
you were recently looking through like old home clips for it, huh?
It was a very fun process because I want to get them. I've been shooting for the past couple of years now. Since Tokyo, I've shot a bunch of horizontal footage, 4K, just on my phone of you when you're doing cool things. Because in my brain, I've always been like, either someone's making a documentary of Ilona or I'll do it. So I gotta have the clips for it. So I've been shooting footage for years now. And so I have it all on this drive that, with Hello Sunshine, I was like, hey guys, guess what I got? Stuff. Because I've been shooting it either whether I was gonna make this film or we're gonna have an Unreal partner like you.
Yeah.
And so I was doing that, but then another part of that was I wanted to give them home video footage. I think that's really important to your story. We were just home in Vermont recording, and you had the cameras with you in your childhood bedroom, and you were crying. You were going through beautiful things, and you were just kind of talking and telling stories. And I think it's going to be this really beautiful touch point on who Ilona is and who she was to get to where you are now. So I wanted to make sure that they had actual video footage and not just photos of that time of little Ilona, and a little Ilona alongside her two sisters, alongside her mom and dad, and the community that kind of built you.
Right.
So I was going through about like 6 hours of footage, maybe it's about 5 hours of footage, and I cut it down to moments of you because there was a lot of other stuff. Ilona never wanted to wear underwear as a child. I think it was a sensory thing. So you got to cut around that, where she just was like dress on, no underwear, going down a slide, legs spread. You know what I mean? I gotta cut around that.
And I'll be real, that's me right now as well.
That's her.
I'm wearing a long dress, not wearing underwear. Okay, little Ilona knew us up.
What's that Euphoria audio that's like Maddie knew who she was from a very young age? That's Ilona.
That's me.
So that was a very cool process to go and see all of us so little. And there's these clips of me being like, these are my sisters. And there's Ilona going, that's my sister and that's my sister. And we're just so little. And to be seeing what we're doing today as sisters, it was very cool on video once again. But that was also an emotional process to watch us so little and where we were, and just like seeing us as just girls in the world for the first time, figuring out with each other, by each other's sides, playing in the living room. And I'm so glad that mom and dad had the forethought to there's a whole segment of dad just rolling on us playing in the living room, jumping on the couches, running around. We have a scarf that we're like an expensive scarf. Dad keeps going, that's expensive. Okay. Like it's this expensive scarf of Mom's that we're playing as if one of us is a dog and we're walking us through the living room, and Dad's just kind of being like, yeah, you know what? They're having fun. It's all good. Yeah. So it's very special moments that I was able to cut down for the documentary. I
am interested though, because I think this will be, I wonder if it'll feel like invasive, vulnerable. Like, will it feel that way when it comes out? I'm like, ooh, everyone's going to see that. Everyone's going to, judge me or know all of these feelings, and they're going to get to make their opinions about how I feel right now. I do get nervous about that, because I have been feeling some ways this year that I'm not proud of, but I feel very torn about. And so people are going to see this online, and I want to make sure like I'm putting, I'm going to be put in a good light because I think I'm a good person, but like also I want to put the sport on a good light. That's my thing is, this documentary is because we're leading into the World Cup. So I want to make sure the sport's being shown well, no matter, how I'm feeling right now. So I am afraid that it's going to be a very like, going to show everything. It's not going to show everything, but people will get it to really see an inside look about me. And that doesn't worry me so much, but it is interesting.
I think that's an incredibly human reaction and thing to be nervous about. But I almost think too that it is special that you have allowed these cameras in to tell this story of how you've been feeling torn, because that's incredibly human and that's what you're actually going through. And I think that we're capturing it in a very like sensitive way. So I think it's kind of cool to tell this story because it isn't just like, I don't know. I think there's a lot of cliches when it comes to sports stories. And I think you are your own story. And I'm so excited that it's being told in this way, but that's so normal to be nervous.
Yeah. I'm going to be interested when we get to that point where we're like, looking over the drafts and seeing how it is. But I do think I am excited also to just like watch it. And then later on, years from now, I'll show my kids and then show my grandkids. I think it'll be cool.
And then I want multiple seasons. Sorry, I want a season 2, season 3. There's more to be told about Ilona Maher.
I think it will. I think what we are setting it up for this is it leading into that, and then when I decide when I go back to play for LA, like that's a season there as well to see somebody who's going for hopefully their 3rd Olympics and who had just an amazing last Olympics where they won a medal. That's a story to tell. The pressure on there, the pressure I feel constantly, I think will be a whole other thing to really dive into.
I think in this season and what you're filming, you're talking about something that's very nuanced, and I think you've been describing it in that way where you're getting all the different angles. But I will say there are people who are just going to like not even listen to it and just think what they want to think. But you've been putting in so much work and speaking so eloquently to like actually like describe what is going on and not just be like, like, so you're taking a risk by putting it out there, but I think it's a calculated one, and it's your story, like you have a right to share it.
And you're not the only person that feels like this too. There will be people that relate, and it will be so thankful for you for talking about your truth. And I'm excited for us to find the right partner to bring this story to the world with Hello Sunshine.